Denise, thank you for coming along today. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hi Doris, I'm Denise Baynham. I'm a professional photographer. I've been a photographer for about 20 years now and on the board of the New Zealand Fashion Museum for the last 5. So regularly help out with these kind of events, doing pop-up fashion events where we get to photograph lots of amazing garments. So my background is I have shot a lot of fashion before. In my day-to-day job I photograph people, so garments on people if you like. And I also have a personal project, an exhibition that's been travelling around New Zealand since 2020. So my work is incredibly varied.
Yes, great, thank you. And this work's quite challenging in a lot of ways, isn't it? Because the figures are very static so you're not getting any body movement in there. So there are other, I suppose, sort of challenges with taking photos like that. Would you like to tell us something about the challenges of taking these photos?
Yeah, sure, because the garments are all incredibly varied. So, you know, like for instance here we have the wedding dress, which is white. And so that's going to reflect the light, and what we want to be careful of is that we don't blow out all the highlights and miss all those important details. Whereas garments that are black or darker in colour are going to absorb the light. And then, you know, of course, sometimes we have garments that are reflective or sequined and sparkly, so the challenges are non-stop. So the important thing with this kind of setup is to get that lighting sort of centre weighted, I guess, so that it's a happy medium for everything. And then what I can do in post is adjust those highlights and shadows, and because otherwise I'd be consistently changing the lighting, which would be an absolute nightmare. So,
yep. and that is one of the challenges, I think, of these photographs, is because on the Fashion Museum website we have very, very high definition images, so that you can zoom in and you can actually see a single bead on a garment or a stitch in a hem. That lighting needs to allows those things to be seen, really, isn't it?
Yeah, so with the Fashion Museum we always use a grey because we want it to be classic for archival purposes. So your paper backdrops that don't date are your white, your grey or your black. But of course if we're photographing white garments on a white background, then you know, everything can sort of look a bit blown out, and the same if we're photographing black garments on a black background. So grey's kind of a nice happy medium. And to your point, we're photographing everything really high resolution, so shooting in RAW file, and the image files are really big, so you can crop in and you can see all those little tiny details. Great lighting, you need to have your lighting on point, and you know, these images should be around for a long time to stand the test of time.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So do you want to just talk through how you're going to deal with this dress, please?
Yeah. It's just about having my wonderful assistant getting the dress in the right place. So we've got the tripod, everything set up so that ideally we can not have to move with every single shot. So should be able to just take a photo, and it's just making sure that everything looks great, you know, a little bit of, you know, sort of floofing the garment and getting everything looking wonderful. And also just wanted to add that I like to photograph tethered, which means photographing to a laptop. And the reason for that is because the back of the screen's quite little, and we really want to be able to check all those little details and make sure that everything's nice and sharp, and you know, the sleeves are all looking even, etc. So, and quite happy with that actually.
Great. Do you want to put the shoes in? Put your feet a little bit closer. Put your feet a little bit closer together. Actually, Natalie, you can just turn the one of the shoes a little bit to one angle. That's it. Yep. Beautiful, thank you. And the other one straight. Yeah, because that's how we stand. Yeah. You know. I'm going to send you back, Natalie, and put the shoe on this side, just a little bit to the towards you, on the side. Yeah, a little bit more. Oh, that's it. Yep. Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah,
it looks great. Yep. Yeah,
awesome.
No, it looks missing the flowers, of course. Okay, so we're going to turn?
Yes.
So
okay.
with the big drama with turning this one, it's got a train.
Another thing that we like to do is capture lots of different angles. So I've also worked in e-commerce, photographing fashion, and like e-commerce, even though this is for archival purposes, the same sort of premise that we want to photograph the front, a sort of a 3/4 view, a side view and a back view, just so that we can get a real good feeling of the garment. And then we're also going to have either my assistant or someone else will be photographing like any sort of close-up or intricate details on the garment, and also the label as well, because from an archival point of view, it's all those kind of things that tell a story of a garment.
You see how much work it is to just get one garment photographed. It's amazing, isn't it?
But we're rolling with that.
It's nice, that fold in the side, because it shows you the movement in the dress. It's good. It's lovely. Thank you.
And so, like I was talking about earlier, because it is a white garment, we just need to make sure that the highlights aren't blown out. So what I'll do in post is I'll pull down some of those highlights just so that we're not missing any of the important details in the craftsmanship here. Okay, I'm happy with that. That looks fabulous. Okay, let's go. 3/4. Perfect. Wonderful. And as you'll see, some garments are way easier than others. Can you just push this shoulder back a tiny bit? And just fluff the right hand sleeve, yeah. Just the whole sleeve, yeah. And it's interesting too, you'll see compared to the wedding dress how, this grey or dark grey sort of charcoaly fabric photographs so completely different. So as you can see, this is really standing out a lot easier. Whereas if we go back to the wedding dress, it can be very easy for highlights and everything to be blown out, and that's why I just want to make sure in the setup that the lighting's all really, it's going to work for both light fabrics as well as the dark fabrics, and then being able to adjust those in post so that we can get the best out of all the garments. So that one's done.